Welcome to Nothing Finer. I'm your host, Rick Beach, along with Austin Island. Week one's in the books.
Yeah.
A little Vandy game. Wasn't much to it, 36 victory.
Yep, it's covered the spread. So.
Yeah, covered the spread with some field goals late. Georgia jumped out with that big 21-0 lead, first three drives.
Yep.
Then
three drives, 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, kicked into cruise control. But what did you kind of think overall? Is what you expected, or?
Yeah, a little bit. I think, last week we talked 45-14 to cover. But I'd much rather take the 30-6 and not give up the touchdown. I think it's more important to me.
Yeah.
Because we know what the offense can be. We know how explosive DeAndre Swift is. We've seen Zamir White finally and how explosive he is.
Yeah, that was a big moment.
Which is pretty amazing. Pretty reminiscent of Noshawn Marino to me. Just the way he just a big ball of muscle and just hits the ground and bounces straight back up and just. But overall, I was impressed. I think Jake Fromm looked good. A lot of fans giving him a hard time, but 15 of 23, 156 yards, touchdown.
I think they got out of rhythm in the second quarter. Yeah. They started run.
Yeah.
And it got Fromm kind of out of rhythm. Then they started throwing later, and it wasn't the same. And that was the atmosphere is different.
Yeah.
The game kind of changed by then as far as we wanted to kill the clock. That's what we want to kill the clock.
Yeah.
We knew their offense wasn't going nowhere. We had them, kind of smothered. They had a couple drives where they drove down, and they got 2 field goals, but they didn't really have no dominant run. They started. It was 14-0. I think they went for it on fourth. They had the fake punt.
Yeah.
Then they hit a reverse. And you're like, okay, they're panicking at 14-0. It's over. If you see a team start doing that stuff that early, you know that they're in panic mode.
Yeah, that's all they had. That's all they felt that could work was, once they start doing stuff like that.
To Vandy's credit, they played hard the whole game. Derek Mason had them. Them boys never quit.
Yeah, just like we said, Derek Mason was going to have these guys lined up correctly. You know what I'm saying, on defense. They were going to be ready to play. They weren't going to stop. They're not going to give up. Derek Mason's going to at least, if he cannot score, he'll at least do his best to play sound defense. So. I think that's a big part of it.
I think from a Georgia aspect, we did everything you wanted to do.
Yeah.
And being captain, obvious, other than you can't have 10 penalties.
Yeah. That's something we got to clean up, and that's become typical of UGA at the first game of the year, and we seem to dial it down a little bit. But penalties always seem to be something that kind of sneak up and get to us a little bit, which is kind of annoying, something that definitely needs to be worked on. And like I was just telling you before the show, Rick, I've been noticing this, that Georgia wears white gloves on the road. Okay, and when we're on the road and somebody else is wearing a dark uniform and you're out here with these big old white gloves on your hands and you're holding, the referee's going to see that immediately. So I think it's something that they could address. And obviously, look, everybody holds on every play.
Right.
It just is what it is. And so when you got on these white gloves, it just makes it easier to see for the refs to pick it out. And, that could have led to the surplus of holding calls we had. So I think that's something they could address.
Yeah, going back, there were some holding calls, but that offensive line did about what you expected them to do.
Just mauled them.
There were some complaints of the 4th and short. We didn't get it twice, but we still had over 300-something yards rushing on 40 carries.
Yeah.
So we still had a real good game, run the ball. But Andrew Thomas and Charlie
Brian
Warner,
Herrion didn't really hit the hole on that play like I really wanted him to.
But,
so I think,
but
a lot of this game,
there
they
was a hole there.
Yeah.
Because that offensive line was just dominating.
Yeah. Well, he just didn't hit the right hole. Brian Herrion, I think they was just throwing him a bone for Vandy. I like Brian. He's a hard worker, good grinder. But, I feel like as the season goes on, he'll start to get less and less carries. And these guys with more talent are going to start, just taking the workload.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good that Herrion got the start. We know Swift is the one. He's our one. But having Herrion, he got the start. Appreciate your 4 years. But you're going to see Herrion get these less carries every week. Zamir's going to move in the 2. Cook looks real quick. He's we know how fast he is, but he got a little bit bigger.
Yeah, he did.
He looks a little bit better as a back. And as that happens, it might push Herrion even further down. So it was cool that he got the start. But I think he got the start because you stayed your 4 years. You've busted your tail in this backup role every year, never being a primary back. So I get with Herrion, but it's not his fault. He's just not as talented as some of these other guys, but he's still a quality SEC back.
Yeah, definitely, and he is. He's a grinder. He runs hard. He doesn't give up on the play. But when you got aspirations like Georgia does, you got to put the best player on the field, regardless of how it may make somebody feel or anything like that.
And it didn't take anybody long to tell Zeus is for real.
Yeah.
Zamir White is
second carry.
I mean, when he gets hit, the way he keeps driving, he had that, the whole group kind of moved on that 1 yard.
Drive him a couple of yards.
Yeah, it had the offensive line going with him. So, I mean, it shows how strong his legs are, how strong his effort is. And he just runs through arm tackles. So you can see he's going to be that too.
Definitely.
With Swift. And Swift showed why he's the one.
Yeah.
I mean, he didn't have this.
Yeah, Swift. He just did more of what Swift does, man. Long at 36, 147 yards on 16 carries. No touchdowns, but,
averaging 8-9 yards a carry, that's all you need.
Yeah, and Zamir White on his carries was averaging 10.2 yards a carry, which is amazing to think that he's battled through everything he has to get to this point, and now he's got a chance to really take the team over, to be honest.
Yeah, come back from 2 ACLs within a year, one on each leg, and then come back and not just get out there for some charity carries.
No.
But he actually made hay with what he got. And so you're seeing where the running game's going. With this offensive line we talked about a little bit ago, Charlie Warner and Andrew Thomas on the edge.
Yeah.
They can just hit that side, and, that's not throwing down Cade Mays at right guard and Isaiah Wilson on the other side. So you can go either way. And then Trey Hill's going to get better at center. That's his first career start. So this line is going to get better. Your biggest improvement comes between week 1 and week 2.
Yeah.
That's what, that's always been said. That's your biggest jump. And you're going to see that because there was a lot of teams that didn't play good at all week 1.
Yeah.
So for Georgia to come out in our week 1, and maybe we didn't hit the strides everybody expected us to.
Yeah.
We didn't put up the big numbers like a Clemson, but we did get the win. And I think for Kirby, that's all, let's get the win. Not worry about style points, not try to keep up with the Joneses as far as we don't have to win 42-3, 52-14. We just need to get the win.
Well, this is something that a lot of coaches don't talk about, but I just know that this is how it is. A lot of coaches, when they're in a game where they know there's a possibility they could coast, Nick Saban does this too. You want to put your kids in adverse situations, like a situation that's, you're going to win the game, but you want to kind of put them in something that's harder to get out of because it, creates character. It's good reps.
Leadership.
It's just a good way to build your team up, you know what I mean? But as far as the offense goes, I was very pleased. 8 receivers caught at least one pass. So anybody who's saying Jake Fromm's not spreading around, he's spreading out, pepper in the field.
Yeah.
So.
And that number's going to go up even more because I don't think Simmons had a catch.
Yeah, and you think he only took 23 attempts. So, if I had to grade Fromm out, I'd give him a B+. He kind of fell off a little bit in the third quarter. Seemed like he was kind of zinging it a little too hard. But
and they've tried to force it with Pickens a couple of times.
Yeah.
George Pickens in the end zone. I think they threw at him 3 times in the end zone. But at Fromm's
they threw at him twice. We underthrew ones and overthrew one. So.
Yeah, and then the fourth quarter they tried to throw it in that same drive. I think earlier in the game we tried a corner pass in the opposite end zone. Yeah. But to Fromm's credit, he didn't try to force it with Pickens. He threw it where only Pickens could make the catch. So it's either incomplete or going to be a spectacular catch, one or the other.
And he threw the one over Tyler Simmons' head, the crossing route, which is not a bad throw. You want to get it away from, that way Tyler can go up and make the play.
Out of traffic. Yeah. So, I mean, Fromm did what we expect from him. He managed the game.
Exactly.
He went out there, didn't make any mistakes that hurt the team, didn't get, no mistakes that would put Vanderbilt back in it. And now we got a couple more weeks. Mm-hmm. And, we got, FCS team this weekend with Murray State.
Yeah.
And you got to think, then we got Arkansas State after that, which is, I believe they're in the Sun Belt.
Yep, Sun Belt.
But you saw what happened with Tennessee with the Sun Belt team.
Yeah.
So I don't see Georgia being anywhere in that position where UT, because where the program is. But you kind of think maybe because Arkansas State, some of that adversity you're talking about could come up early on.
Yeah.
Because by halftime.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that. It's a way to build character.
It's a way to build character. With Murray State, I think that'll be where we finally get to see some Stetson Bennett this time.
Yeah, I think Murray State will see a hike in the offensive production just based on the competition. But, it'll.
Yeah.
Well, and we'll be at home, so a lot of more people will be coming in and playing snaps.
This weekend, when Zeus came in for that his first series or first drive, he ran out there. We threw a pass his first time, but that crowd went crazy with the Zeus chant. So I can't wait to hear it this weekend at Sanford Stadium and the reception that he gets.
Yeah.
And this weekend's it's a small game, but they're doing the Dooley Field. So you're gonna have a whole lot of people there on the sidelines. You're gonna have a lot of people. It's gonna be a good atmosphere for a smaller game. So I applaud Georgia and UGA Athletics for kind of doing it on a small game.
Yeah.
so it gives more people a reason to want to go to honor Vince Dooley.
Exactly.
And it's going to be a good crowd, and they're going to be, it's going to be a 4 o'clock game.
Oh, yeah.
And I think it's going to be a pretty good, build up for what we're looking forward to in 2 weeks with Notre Dame.
Yeah. So, if you had to grade the offense out, what'd you give them?
I think overall, by the end, it'd be a B.
Yeah, right around a B.
Come out the gate humming, but not being able to get back in that rhythm.
Yeah.
And really, you look at it, we wasn't able to just put your foot on the throat.
Yeah.
And make it a 45-0 game. Instead, settle for field goals, not getting the fourth and shorts, which I'm not concerned with.
Yeah.
Because we ran the ball so good, and I know the improvements are coming. You're not going to come out the gate and be how you're going to be all year week 1.
Oh yeah, totally.
There's going to be improvements, and when you look at us, if we can improve on how good we did, we're going to be a scary good team.
Yeah. Now defense, real quick, very impressed. Ojolari 6 tackles, half a sack, a couple for loss. Jordan Davis played great, 2 tackles, 1 tackle for loss. Havoc rating was probably not through the roof, but it's improved from where it's been.
Yeah.
Tyson Campbell came out and played lockdown.
Got the start.
Yeah.
He started opposite Eric Stokes.
Yeah, we thought DJ Daniel was going to get that start, but Tyson Campbell said, not too fast, my friend. And he took that back over and played a great game, man. Definitely, I'd say equivalent with Eric Stokes right now.
And you look at the rotating that they did at DB, we got to see a lot. It was Campbell and Stokes, but they rotated to Vaughn Wilson.
Yeah.
Tyreek Stevenson.
Yeah, DJ Daniels got in there. Everybody got in.
McGee got in later in the game. But the player I was most impressed with on defense was at the star, with Mark Webb got the start.
Yeah,
he was
Mark
tied
Webb
for the team leading tackle, so he's getting his nose in there. If you don't remember, he came in as a wide receiver out of Philadelphia. He's cousins with DeAndre Swift.
Yep.
He switched to DB, and he's worked his way up the depth chart. Now he's starting at the star, and he leads the team in tackles. I think that's, I look at that as a cool story. He's kind of like the Tay Crowder switching positions.
Yeah.
And then it's a guy that just humping it. He ain't making it on coming in as a 5-star. So I'd like to see him have a good season.
Yeah.
And he's getting his season started off right, making some plays, and hopefully he'll only get better as the season goes on.
Definitely. Man, my guy for the game was Jordan Davis, man. I just love the way he plays. I love having that big old pile of meat in the middle of the line just to free things up for the linebackers to flow. And then he got his hand on that kick, the field goal. The field goal still counted. It still went through, but he got his paw up there and got a hand on it, and that's just what you like to see out of
he had
big mountains
on that tackle
of dudes
for a
like
loss.
him.
He chased that little dude down.
Yeah.
And that's good running back coming out of Vanderbilt. So he chased him down. It ain't like he just got back there and hit him.
Yeah.
He ran him down, and that's a big dude, running somebody down.
Yeah, I was very impressed with Jordan Davis, and I think that caliber of play from him, could catapult us to
And I think
Atlanta
the defensive
for sure.
line overall play. Clark, they might not have blown up the stat line, but we've talked before, your defensive line don't have to blow up the stat line.
Yeah, that's not how this is schemed up. Yeah.
And so, we did see some things out of defense I didn't expect to see.
Yeah.
Adam Anderson line up an inside linebacker for a play and actually dropping back into coverage.
Yeah.
And I think that was Riley Neal was in at quarterback. And that's the play that Nolan Smith chased him out of the pocket, chased him up the pocket. Mm-hmm. Then Anderson was coming in, and then Nolan caught him from behind. But you could see the speed was on such a different level from Georgia and Vanderbilt, and it really, you see this recruiting. It's all about recruiting, and it's building towards 2019. And then Saturday it was on display as what we finally got built up.
Totally. And all right, grade out the defense. That's what you got.
I think it'd just be an A, not an A plus, because we did give up. Most of the penalties came on defense, stupid penalties, and then we didn't give up any touchdowns.
Yeah.
We did give up a couple field goals, so I ain't gonna. A plus would be a complete shutout.
Yeah, totally. I was thinking more like a B plus because I think there is a lot of things we could do better. I think, even though the Havoc rating was increased, I think we could still pressure the quarterback even better. So that's something
we didn't have too
for.
many crazy blitzes.
Yeah.
But
a lot of it's predicated on the quick release of Riley Neal.
Yeah, the plays, they ran a lot of swings.
Yeah, they're scheming a lot of stuff because they know that these guys are coming, so they want it. You got to dump it off.
Yeah, I think their longest pass ended up being that double pass they had with the wide
You can't
receiver.
let your guy, his first career start, you can't let him just get mutilated, so you got to kind of scheme around that a little bit.
So, I was impressed with the way the defense played. We didn't have to do nothing crazy.
Yeah.
The blitzes we did were still basic. They come in a corner blitz or something, so it wasn't nothing too extravagant.
Yeah.
Now, we're talking about the route Georgia's looking, the way we're building up. All off season, I kind of gave Jeremy Pruitt some credit.
Yeah,
They beat Auburn last year. They looked like the program was turning.
Yeah.
Then they lose to Georgia State. Now,
unexplainable.
You can't explain that, and you could try to spin it as far as saying what Michigan did in 07 when they lost to App State.
06 when they went down to App State.
Yeah, they lose. Yeah, it was 2007. They lose to App State, then they go on to beat Tim Tebow in Florida.
Okay.
But you got to remember, Michigan was a preseason top 5.
Yeah.
Tennessee's not a top 25 team. So I don't know how fast they could turn this around.
They won't.
Or if they're just going to head to another 5-7, 4-8 type season, because they got BYU this weekend. And next week they got UT Chattanooga. I could see them winning that game.
Yeah.
But then they start to Florida, Georgia, Alabama, South Carolina. They play some tough teams after that I don't know if they can hang with. And then you look at what South Carolina did with North Carolina.
Yeah.
Who's North Carolina all offseason, people are saying they're a year away. They're not going to win this much with Mac. And to me, it shows what happens when you allow fan bases to pick your coach.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying the fans didn't interview these coaches, but these administrations made these hires of Jeremy Pruitt and Will Muschamp when they had other hires. Greg Schiano was going to go to UT, but Tennessee fans didn't want that. So they caused a big uproar, got the president fired, and they got the coach that they wanted. And then South Carolina, it spins around. South Carolina has Sean Elliott on their side. He was their interim coach when Spurrier left.
Yeah.
They could have made him full-time coach. They let him go. He goes to Georgia State, and they went and got Muschamp to get this sexy hire. And Muschamp walked into a talent-laden room down in Florida and got nothing. Yeah. And maybe it's got a lot to do with Muschamp. Maybe he's just not a HC material that people are trying to force him to be. Because South Carolina looks like garbage.
Yeah.
And they got Jake Bentley at quarterback. He's been there. This is not how a team with this much experience is supposed to look against a team with a brand new head coach and young players.
Yeah, well, yeah. Jake Bentley's had a lot of turnovers, and that's not indicative of a guy who's been well coached. So
yeah, Dad's a coach.
Yeah.
He's the son of a coach. And, I mean, it's insane. But I look at both of them. These are hires that were made strictly trying to appease the fans.
Yeah.
And that's not always the way to go. And we're fans. We're all, we're Georgia fans.
Absolutely.
But I don't expect Jared Moorhead and Greg McGarity to call me up and say, hey, what do we need to make on this hire?
No.
And when you allow fans to start making hires, you open yourself up for these kind of mistakes.
Yeah.
Alabama wanted Rich Rodriguez.
Yeah.
You think they were happy they didn't get Rich Rod and got Nick Saban instead?
Yeah, the way he almost ended up with Sylvester Croom, too. So.
Yeah, I mean, Tennessee, I don't know what happened a couple of years ago. I don't know if Tennessee just now discovered the internet.
To be honest, Butch Jones would not have lost that game.
No.
And I don't like Butch Jones, but he would not have lost that game. There's no way on earth he would have lost that game.
I don't think they would have been in that position. He had talent.
Yeah.
And Pruitt's recruiting talent, but I don't know if it's a lack of quarterback or what's going on. But to give up that many points,
I think it's a lack of charisma, man.
I think it's they got a great coaching staff. They got experienced coaches. That kind of game don't happen with experienced coaching staff. That is what blows my mind. They got T. Martin, Derek Ansley, Jim Chaney, Will Friend. They got good experienced coaches that's been around the block and have won championships.
There's no talent, and when there's no talent, you got a guy
there's more talent than Georgia State.
You come out and then Jeremy's just flatlined the whole game, And when you are trying to coach up less talent to play at an elite level, then you can't come out like this. You got to come out. But
there is talent there. I mean, it's the same. They beat Tennessee last year, and they've improved on that team with the recruiting. They haven't had horrible recruiting class. So it's a team that beat Auburn last year. They beat Kentucky last year. So the talent's there. So where is the problem? It has to fall on coaching. I mean, they're not prepared. They came out. They look horrible on defense.
Flat.
And Pruitt is a defensive coach. And being flat, he's not a flat line. He's never like that as an assistant. And
that's how he's been. It just seems like,
standing there.
Yeah.
And
he bad body language, man.
Yeah, it's not.
Kids pick up on that instantly.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on.
Kids feed off of your emotion. Like that's why Nick Saban's teams are so business-like, because he's very fiery, but he's also business. And same way with Kirby Smart. That's why we hear about when Brenton Cox thing went down. That's why we heard about a lot of players getting after Brenton Cox. Giving him down the road, giving him a hard time. And that's because they see Kirby doing that, and so they become accountable themselves, and hold other players accountable, and that's not happening at Tennessee.
No,
There's a lot of coddling going on. Seems
right.
like
And
to me.
Kirby admitted at media days, "I'm a tyrant on the field."
Yeah,
that
which
one
is the way
quote
you
right
should
there
be.
tells you all you need to know.
Oh yeah.
Is he's
Well, you
open
seen it
about
Saturday.
it.
You seen him giving that.
Oh, he was
giving that visor.
Channing Tindall when he got that time. That's a 21-0 game.
Yeah.
But Tindall made a mistake. I
Yeah.
believe it was on a punt return.
Yeah.
Or
We're not sure what happened on the play. He might have been lined up wrong.
You know what? But I guarantee you, Channing Tindall knows what he did wrong, and I bet he won't do that again.
I bet he won't.
So it's he had a couple outbursts, and I love a Kirby outburst.
Yeah.
Because it shows he cares. It shows that it matters.
Exactly. Yeah.
And that's always fun.
And that's what I seen a guy. I'm sure a lot of people on YouTube know him. Volunteer Roadshow.
Yeah.
Big Vol fan, always does reactions and stuff. And man, he was real hurt by what he's seen. Basically saying Jeremy Pruitt act like it doesn't matter to him.
Right.
And that's what I was seeing too on the sideline. You sitting there acting like it don't matter to you, and I never get that. When you want this job and you want to make millions of dollars, and it should matter.
It mattered to Mark Richt, but what was his biggest thing people said about him?
Yeah,
he acts like it don't matter because when you stand on the sidelines and you're not. If that's the kind of coach you are, it's just who you are.
Yeah.
But people want to see that it matters because it matters to fans.
It matters to them, yeah.
And
after they vouch for you to get you on campus,
yeah,
just like we were just talking about.
The Tennessee fans complain
They
about
wanted
every
Jeremy
coach.
Pruitt.
Well, they wanted Philip Fulmer to be the AD.
Yeah.
So that's the first thing they did.
Yeah.
Then whatever Philip Fulmer said, they agreed with.
Yeah.
So okay, that'll do.
Well, Philip Fulmer.
Yeah, Philip. Well, he's a Tennessee guy. Played there, coached there, won that national championship in '98. Yeah. So yeah, I get he's a big idol to them, and I get it. So whatever he says, they believe.
Right.
But Pruitt wasn't their first choice. He wasn't their second, third, fourth choice. He was on down the line, much like Todd Grantham when he came our DC.
Yeah.
He wasn't our first choice. So sometimes when you don't get your first choice, you're going to have hiccups. And Tennessee might be able to turn it around, but now they're looking. It looks like Florida's the second best team in the East by default.
Yeah.
Because Missouri, another team, I talked about Tennessee this offseason.
I talked about Missouri.
You talked about Missouri this offseason. They go lose to Wyoming.
Yeah, which is not to say that either of these teams can't figure it out.
Right.
But I do see Missouri figuring it out before Tennessee because Wyoming isn't the same as losing to Georgia State. Wyoming has been a high-powered offense for like the past 10 years.
But they're Mountain West. There's no excuse.
Yeah, there's no excuse for the physicality of an SEC team.
Especially if you're trying to be in that next tier.
Yeah.
Now, if you're where Arkansas was last year, you go out and lose at Wyoming, we get it.
Yeah.
You ain't made much improvement.
You're completely from scratch rebuilt. So.
But you're Missouri, and a lot of people said, not a lot, there's a lot of noise being made about Missouri being able to push Florida and maybe be that number 2 team in the East. Mm-hmm. And they might still get a Georgia game. They could turn it around.
Oh, yeah.
But you look at their coaching staff, I don't see a veteran. They got Derek Dooley, who I've talked about before. I don't know what happened to him from Tennessee and Missouri, but now people think he's an offensive guru.
Yeah.
When all he coached wide receivers at Dallas. So maybe they don't turn around. Maybe the East is just last year kind of a fluke.
Another round of coaching changes.
Toward the end of the year,
I think Mark Stoops will be the most rock solid guy in the East.
Yeah, and they're not a great team. They're just a good team.
Yeah.
They're
they struggled a little bit, but they pulled it out and won, and I think Mark Stoops will grow on that, and I think he'll be the only guy left after the next couple of weeks that has a job guaranteed. You know what I mean?
You're looking at a team 8-4. It's probably good enough to be second best in the East.
Yeah.
8-4 because Florida, they won their game, so you got to give them that credit. Yeah. And they didn't look great, but they won their game.
Well, I'll tell you this: if Vandy goes and beats Purdue next week, watch out. Because Vandy will come and they'll beat a lot of these teams that just lost. They'll beat a Tennessee, which they've been dominating Tennessee anyways.
Vanderbilt's well coached.
Yeah.
They don't quit.
Yeah.
So they'll give you a full 60 minutes. Yeah. And being well coached will beat an unwell coached team like, say, Florida.
Think they almost got over on Notre Dame last year, so it's not like these guys are, it's just the talent's not there like it was supposed to be at a Tennessee, but you see how that's working out.
Tennessee, that should never happen to Tennessee.
It should have never happened.
It shouldn't have been real close, but okay, I get if it's 17-14 at halftime. But to finish,
this is Jarrett Guarantano's 4th year on campus.
I mean, their offseason was built. This is going to be a better year.
Yeah.
New defensive coordinator Derek Ansley coming from the NFL. He's a Bama guy, grad assistant. Then they go with Jim Chaney hire.
Yeah.
Hey, we're getting better. They told the whole country, hey, we got Georgia's offensive coordinator. We're getting better. Then you go lay an egg. It should have been 38-23, but they scored that touchdown late. you got smoked by Georgia State.
Smoked.
Now, Georgia State, I talked about him earlier, Sean Elliott. He was on the coaching staff at Appalachian State when they beat Michigan.
Yeah.
So he can talk from experience of it can be done, guys. It can be done. And when you give a team that believes, and now they believe, and then they get a little bit of a lead, so they really start building into that momentum. And Tennessee couldn't do nothing to counter it. Next thing you know, they're down 15 points to Georgia State. And it was bad.
I'm sorry.
That's bad for Tennessee, and it's bad for the SEC. I ain't gonna lie, the SEC's always been this.
I know a lot of people
conference.
are going to be mad about that, but
the SEC is not a dominant. We're dominant at the top. The biggest difference in the SEC is we got two really elite teams at the top.
Yeah.
Then you have LSU, who's budding to be elite. Auburn's budding to be elite. Then A&M is, kind of on that tier with Auburn, where they're a good year away. Yeah. But you just don't know, because we've seen Jimbo Fisher implode. Yeah. We've seen Gus Malzahn implode. But we've also seen Gus Malzahn go to the national championship in 2013. So you don't know. Bo Nix wasn't, he didn't come out there and look like,
he played sloppy, but he made a play when it mattered. Yeah.
But he won, and that's the thing.
Auburn's defense kept him hanging around, and they was able to make just enough plays.
They gave up 14 points in the first quarter. Yeah. But they gave up 7 the rest of the game, and that's all it took to win the game. So you're looking. That defense is good.
That defense is real good.
So that defense is going to get better. We said earlier from week 1 to
barring
week 2.
injury, because they're not super deep, but the ones they got are
that defense
NFL level guys on the line. Anyways, front 7, Derek Brown, he's going to be playing on Sundays. For Marlon Davidson playing on Sundays.
Yeah.
So.
Oh yeah, they probably got 3 defensive linemen going to the league.
Yeah.
Then you got your outside guy, Big Cat.
Yeah.
Bryant, he's a great one on the outside. They got some talent on defense. Auburn is a team that could be scary later in the year.
Definitely.
If they keep it going. But this week, coming up on week 2, real quick, we got Texas A&M at Clemson.
Yeah.
Who do you see winning that game?
Texas A&M at Clemson. The line is 19.5-point favorite to Clemson. I do think Clemson wins it, but they won't cover the spread. I say 3-point game.
Yeah, I see it being closer, maybe a 10 to 7-point game. Other game we got coming up, you got Texas hosting LSU.
Yeah. LSU, 4-point favorite in that game. I see him winning that by 10.
10?
Yeah, I think LSU looked good. I mean, it was Georgia Southern, and that's something else I want to talk about real quick is the power rankings came out, and they put LSU at 3, and I think this is a big media thing to try and create hype and drama.
The other game, we got Cincinnati going to Ohio State. I think Cincy can give them a ball game. That's all the time we got this week. We got, be sure to subscribe on YouTube. If you want to go to Twitter, you can go at NothingFinerPod, Facebook.com/NothingFinerPod. We got the promo code still. You go to the76.com. That's the letters, not the numbers, the76.com. Hit the promo code FINER. Get you 10% off your UGA gear. They got Brave stuff. They got other college stuff, but only the Georgia gear. Get 10% off. Promo code FINER. Week 2 coming up. Still a couple weeks till the Notre Dame game. Go Dogs. God bless.